in Dalton Thursday evening as Chicago's former mayor, who was hired to investigate Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration, revealed the shocking spending of taxpayers.
Drama in Dalton. Credit card transactions amounting to thousands of dollars without explanation and millions more owed to vendors.
A bombshell report highlights just how much financial trouble the village of Dalton is really in.
The village is facing financial disaster, and they blame the mayor for mismanagement. She says this is all just political retribution.
No response to repeated interview requests. I tried to track down Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard in person today. Village employees told me she wasn't in the...
Tiffany Henyard appears determined to drain the banks in Dalton and Thornton Township before her time in office ends. While many were aware that the financial situation was dire, they weren't prepared for the severity of the crisis revealed by Lori Lightfoot, which exposed millions of dollars in debt. To understand the full scope of the situation, let's rewind a few weeks. Throughout Tiffany Henyard's tenure, her time in office has been marred by accusations of corruption and favoritism, yet she seems unfazed. Despite years of villagers urging her to step down, the situation escalated when it was revealed that the FBI had opened an investigation into Henyard.
Now we've learned from multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a possible investigation that may or may not result in charges.
This was due to several individuals filing complaints against her, including business owners who alleged that their businesses were shut down simply for not supporting Henyard's political agenda.
Coincidence or retaliation? Both of the Dalton bars that were raided and shut down last night, we visited the day before as part of our ongoing investigation into allegations of political corruption in Dalton.
They just rushed in here, put police at the front of the door like they was doing a raid on the drug houses.
A team of Dalton police officers raided and shut down Pablo's Bar and Cafe and Rinky's Bar and Cafe, both located uncivilly about a block apart.
Everything going peacefully, nothing going on. This is like 10 police cars came in and they start pushing customers from here. And he said, if you don't leave, we're gonna lock you up.
Employees and owners say it's part of an ongoing campaign of harassment by Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard that is costing jobs and money. Their business licenses have been stripped by Dalton, but they've continued to operate.
Fast forward a few months, and former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was appointed to investigate Henyard's corrupt practices. Naturally, Henyard did everything she could to resist the investigation, initially attempting to shift the blame onto the village trustees.
Stop creating chaos.
Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard at the helm of the village's first packed meeting since Dalton trustees passed a resolution last month requiring her to turn over the village's financial records and asking the FBI to investigate her alleged misuse of village funds. The mayor admits to a $2 million deficit, but trustees say it's...
In a rather embarrassing move, she attempted to veto the FBI investigation. However, her veto was quickly overridden by a majority vote from the Board of Trustees.
Veto their resolution.
The veto message is related to the secret squirrel meetings, yes, that the Board of Trustees have.
The trustees vow to override her veto. One of them, Kiana Belcher, sitting at the meeting with her portrait because she says it was removed from the wall of Village Hall.
This is just a process to drag it along, but everybody sees what's going on.
The village, under Henyard's leadership, is cracking down on access, pushing media at tonight's meeting to the very back of the room, almost out of sight of public comment from residents. But their voices were loud and clear.
You lied to us as residents. You do not stand for me. And I want you to step down as mayor today and save our village from this deficit that you have caused.
The mayor can blame everybody for what's going on, but she has to look at herself. Nobody told her to get on TV and lie like that.
Everybody cares about the person that's making a mess.
Henyard placing the blame elsewhere.
But only judge when you got both sides of the story, not one side narrative, which is negative narrative.
Tiffany has consistently maintained her innocence, often dismissing complaints against her as being rooted in anti-black or anti-female sentiments. However, she has previously refused to address any questions about her now infamous Las Vegas trip, where she spent thousands of taxpayer dollars on hotels, restaurants, and airline tickets.
Relates to your credit card. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting, I do not have it.
Those charges are for you now.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that? You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
You fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other question?
You don't have to answer how taxpayer dollars are being spent. That seems odd.
I just asked you. What do you mean? I just asked you a question.
You said you wouldn't answer about Las Vegas.
You asked me a question and I responded. Okay, band together at this time, at this moment. This is going to be Black History Month, right? Y'all all say Martin Luther King can drink, but guess what? I am the drink.
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet.
Black History Month. Of course I'm going to give away $1 million to help you pay your mortgage and your rent. Of course I am.
The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. We get scrutinized in the media. For what? Loving on the people? Showing them that they matter to us? We going through the fires for y'all. It's Black History Month. As the first African-American female mayor of Dalton.
Of course I'm misunderstood.
And y'all should be ashamed of y'allself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of y'all.
Lori Lightfoot's first report left residents of Dalton and Thornton in shock, with the presentation prompting audible gasps. It revealed alarming findings. No annual report or audit had been conducted since 2012. The general fund for day-to-day operations was in the red by $3.65 million. Police department expenditures had risen by 21%, with 2 officers earning more in overtime than in regular pay as of June 18. 589 checks totaling over $6 million had been approved but not sent to vendors. There were 6 different credit cards with receipts rarely provided, and numerous purchases were under investigation, including $4,000 in charges to Amazon.
21. The general fund for day-to-day operations in the red with $3.65 million. Police department expenditures up 21%, with 2 officers paid more in overtime pay than regular pay. As of June 18th, 589 checks totaling more than $6 million approved but not sent to vendors. 6 different credit cards with receipts rarely provided, and purchases under investigation, including $40,000 in charges to Amazon.
You may hear a number of things in the coming days, but what I can assure you is the information that you share, that we're putting our names on, is on the record from the financial record.
I knew we were broke, and the way she broke it down and just let the other residents hear what was really going on, because Tiffany Henyard always talk about fake news.
After the report, Tiffany Henyard seemed to vanish. News channels attempted to reach out to her following the revelation that she had plunged the general fund into millions of dollars in debt, not to mention the other embezzlement allegations.
The village's credit card spending is out of control. Mayor Tiffany Henyard didn't respond to any of my requests today, and I'm told she's not in the building. No response to repeated interview requests. I tried to track down Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard in person today. Village employees told me she wasn't in the office and didn't say when she would be, a day after this. A packed community meeting Thursday night, outburst after outburst.
The trustees also used the findings to make it clear that Tiffany Henyard was not serving the people. Instead, she had been using their money to fund her own lavish lifestyle.
$40,000 at Amazon. What a slap in the face to everybody that resides in 60419 zip code. I know how I felt when I started seeing this woman. I can imagine how all of you are feeling after all this time being in the dark. There are a number of other things we know, but we aren't ready yet. We got to verify in 20 ways from Sunday. Here is proof for everyone to see, and even the ones who doubt us. If you don't see through this, it's not the same to you. February of 2025, clean house. Clean house.
Meanwhile, Tiffany has taken steps to protect herself from any investigation, even having her criminal defense attorneys sit in on board meetings. The 2 have seemingly become her new right-hand men, particularly after she fired her former top aide, Keith Freeman.
Things about me, I want you to prove it. Because, like I said, fact versus fiction. So you got us into this mess, and now we're trying to salvage what we can to get out.
Sitting at the mayor's side in a place usually reserved for the village attorneys, 2 unfamiliar faces. This is Chicago federal criminal defense attorney Bo Brindley, along with his law partner Ed McDavid. The website for Brindley's law firm says results matter, aggressive criminal defense. The two criminal lawyers sat next to Henyard the entire meeting and even went into the board's closed executive session. Henyard is at the center of an ongoing FBI corruption investigation.
I didn't know them. A lot of my board members, they didn't know that.
The two, of course, have become her closest allies. It's ironic that Henyard, the same person who claimed she was doing all the work while the trustees were wasting resources investigating her, was once a Dalton Village trustee herself. She even promoted Louis Lacey to a new and more significant position.
Louis Lacey, fired for insubordination last week by the Dalton Village Board, is back, appointed by Tiffany Henyard as police chief. Trustees say it's an illegal appointment. Lacey was arraigned on federal bankruptcy fraud charges Thursday afternoon. It's alleged that he lied under oath in a scheme to hide assets and income from creditors.
Well, Mr. Lacey is absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I think the government likes to bring as many counts as possible just so the media will say that he has been charged.
This occurred during the first meeting, when it became clear that Henyard hadn't submitted any financial reports for the past 2 years, prompting people to take action against her. One of those actions was freezing the allocation of $135,000, which is typically received for unpaid fees and traffic fines. Meanwhile, Henyard's actions have begun to turn more of her supporters against her, with a whistleblower emerging from the Thornton Board of Trustees.
Enjoyed near unanimous support on the Thornton Township Board, but now trustee Carmen Carlisle says after trusting Henyard and remaining silent, she will be a whistleblower against Henyard. Carlisle released a statement to WGN that reads in part, for the past 2 years, Henyard has manipulated employees, vendors, and residents using her position to increase her influence, all while projecting a false image of success funded by the hardworking taxpayers of Thornton Township and the village of Dalton. Henyard shows no accountability or conscience for her actions against employees or taxpayers. Henyard has denied wrongdoing and claims her opponents are out for what she calls...
With tensions still running high in Dalton, the latest controversy surrounding Henyard was her decision to hire a new village administrator, further escalating the situation.
Appointment will be for village administrator.
Last night, Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard appointed a new top aide to a $100,000 a year job without board consent. 34-year-old Michael A. Smith, who's been active in South suburban politics for years.
The reason for Mike is he has a wealth of great information. He's a young person and ex-politician. He knows the laws like the back of his hand.
Perhaps that's because Smith has been in and out of trouble with the law for years. Public reporting shows Smith has been charged at least 8 times with crimes ranging from domestic battery to official misconduct. In 2012, Smith, then a young trustee in Dixmoor, resigned after pleading guilty to theft when he allegedly stole gasoline by posing as a police officer. Then in 2018, Smith was working as an assistant dean at Thornton Fractional High School when he was fired for sexual harassment of...
What's worse, as the village grapples with the reality of being millions of dollars in debt, Tiffany seems too preoccupied with other matters to address the crisis.